What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Expand with Omar, your host on this podcast. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thanks for messaging me. Thanks for some comments that you guys have been leaving, which is awesome. So just getting back in this flow, and so far so good. The last 3 weeks have been pretty spot on, just conversing about what we're doing, about what's happening, and what and how it's important to understand the this verbiage and this dynamic of when you increase your commitments, your income will grow. And that goes for everything that you need to accomplish. So the minute that you tell yourself, hey, you know what, I want to increase my commitment to my health. Well, all of a sudden you're going to start watching what you eat. You're going to start waking up a little bit earlier. You're going to end up, doing more, right? Because you are increasing that commitment for your health. And I think in all businesses that if you don't put that first, it's going to be hard to sustain some of these challenges, some of these winters that are coming, because that saying of winter is coming is just around the corner. Even though we're in summer, but it just means that something's coming, so just be prepared. And guys, if you guys don't know what the hell is happening with the economy, with the stock market, with the crash of literally trillions of dollars over the last week and a half, is gone. Like, there's a lot of things that are happening. So I've been living by this statement: increasing your commitments so your income can grow, regardless of what you're doing. So that's something I want to share with you guys today, because this is what's happening. I mean, in any avenue that is happening right now in your business, if you're an agent, if you're a buyer's agent, here comes August 17th. If you're a listing agent, here comes August 17th. If you're dealing with sellers that are primary, like direct to seller, that you're purchasing a property, if you're an investor or a wholesaler, there's things that you need to know. And overall, I mean, this, if you're in this real estate game, and which I'm in, and a lot of you that follow me are as well, and you could be a lender, you could be any profession that you're in, it's an understanding of what you have to do in order to keep moving forward, in order to, to get to that next level. If you want to get to the next level, because there are some people that are cool with just chilling, and they're just relaxing at a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year income, or even less. It just depends. But if you truly want to get to the next level and truly want to push yourself, then understand this: increasing your commitment will increase your income, period. So got a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about with what's happening in our real estate biz. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's something I'm going to tell you guys now. We're Expand Real Estate Group, here in the high desert, and we literally expand for real. And if anyone is here that is in our group, they truly learn how to become a better real estate professional. They learn how to understand the dynamic and the psychology of talking to sellers to try to get them into to try to purchase the property. It's not just about getting the listing. It's not just about representing the buyer. It's about being the well-rounded real estate professional. Okay, so that's something that's happening, and I'm really passionate, and I literally do my best to pour into everybody here on the team, because it's an extension of me. It's an extension of what I've done for my life, and I'm able to help them, and whether it's them buying their first property, them getting their first listing, or representing their first buyer, or doing their first wholesale deal. A couple of guys came up to me and said, "Hey, dude, I just wholesaled my first transaction. Guy made $15K, $20K. It's awesome," because he learned it here in our office, in our team. So if you truly want to expand for real, just reach out to me, and we can have that conversation. But let's get into the investment side of our side of the equation. We have a lot of rentals, and some of the areas that we have rentals in were Airbnbs, and, in Big Bear, and there's a damn saturation of properties for sale. As a matter of fact, in our area, we have I want to say 1,200, 1,300 houses for sale in our area. There's 11 11 or 1,200 houses for sale in Big Bear. So how big is Big Bear? And how big is our high desert, which is Oak Hills, Phelan, Lucerne, Apple Valley, Victorville, Hesperia, Wrightwood, all these areas, combined, and we have 1,200 houses. And there's 1,100 houses plus in Big Bear. So there's some things that are happening. And if you think that the market's saturated in our area, well, go up to Big Bear and you're going to find out. So, and we own property up there. So it's like we've had 2 properties sitting for the last, couple years. They were rented as Airbnbs and it was cool. It was covering the debt. No problem. Just the payment. Wasn't making anything. But here comes a stretch of no occupancies, no people, or nobody renting the place via short term. So made the decision to not bleed anymore and put a long-term renter, long-term tenant in this property. Now it covers the whole debt. It covers extra. And if anything, I'm positive cash flow now because I don't have to worry about electricity and everything else. So it's great. It was now a positive. In addition to the other property that's up there, we're going to rent it out long-term too. Sure, we're not going to have a place to go. But honestly, if we want to go up there for a day or two, I'll just Airbnb for one night in somebody else's house because I know there's an availability of it because there's tons of properties up there. So kind of cool that I could have tenants move into these properties and not have to worry about the debt. And now it's a principal pay down. I got 3% loans on them. So it just makes more sense. So that's what's happening in our area for the Airbnb turned into a long-term tenant or long-term rental. Now, second part, or in addition to, when you guys are going through your process of figuring out your your equity, figuring out like what to do if you're going to rent it or flip it, the equity that you're not making. So this is what I want everyone to write down: the return on your equity. Okay, not the return on the investment, return on the equity. If you have $600,000 sitting in a couple properties and it's only making you $1,000 a month, well, is that really making you that much money? You're only making $12,000 a year on pure cash flow, but you have $600,000 available. Well, that's something that I've looked at, and now that we're changing it up in Havasu, which I have some property up there, we're selling a property there that is going to probably clear a good number north of that number. And guess what? We were not making $1,000 a month. We were making like 800 in positive cash flow. So now I'm going to take that asset, sell it, 1031 exchange it into another asset that'll probably make us $5,000 to $6,000 a month. Now all of a sudden we're making 12% return on our initial equity that was sitting there versus like 2 or 3. So now that $6,000 positive cash flow, because I took it from one property to another, that's the thing that you have to start considering, because now that $6K can pay for 2 or 3 other rentals, and then now you have more cash flow, or that can pay for your toys, the things that you want, the nice cars, this, that, and the other. And I always joke around, and it's like, yeah, I have a couple Lambos and Rolls Royces and all these properties that I haven't cashed out on, and it's true. So now I'll end up doing that to one, buy another property, and if I chose to, I'll get a nice Ferrari or a Lambo or something like that, and the tenants will pay for that car, so it won't cost me anything. So that's how you have to do it, and that's kind of what I'm looking at. Not saying I'm going to go get a Rolls Royce or a Lambo or anything, but eventually I will, right? Because I want to, I want to go down that avenue and hopefully, kind of keep up with the Joneses, as they say, just because I can. But yeah, other than that, the out of the area investments, the out of state investments, that's kind of what I'm figuring in our portfolio. And the other part where I'm faced with, where we're making some decisions to move, to go to a different area because of schools, because the schools in our current area aren't as great as they should be, and I think we owe it to our family to do the best we can to put them in the best possible scenarios for kids to grow and understand and keep them safe from other people's opinions about trying to become a girl if you're a boy, or if you're a boy into a girl. And yeah, I fucking said it. This whole transgender bullshit is fucking dumb. You're born one way, that's it. I mean, sure, if you're gay, that's fine. I'm not hating on that at all. But in this case, it's like, don't be telling my kid that you can be whatever you want and mean it literally, that you can change yourself, because that's fucking stupid. And if people don't agree with me, I don't care, because I'm going to tell you anyways, because that's the cool part about having your opinion. And everybody has an asshole, so some of them stink, some of them don't. I mean, that's up to fucking you. You gotta make sure that you're solid and your hygiene's clean. But everybody has an opinion, so that's something that I'm doing on my end to put my kids in a better environment, better education, better school districts, and everything else. So, and the reason I say this is because sometimes, everybody says, hey, you should always buy. And I don't believe that completely, because, if you're going to try to go buy in, let's just say, Orange County, you're going to go spend $3 million on a nice house, okay? And then we'll do the math. $3 million on a nice house. And then let's just say, for instance, this property that I'm selling to go create more cash flow, and I don't sell it, or I do sell it, but I don't go put it somewhere else to go create more cash flow. Let's say that I put it into a house, okay? Let's say I have, say, $600,000. So now I have $3 million bucks in a purchase. I'm going to put that down. I'm going to put $600K down on that $3 million purchase. It is going to give us a loan amount of $2.4 million. So $2.4 million, let's just say at an average, okay, which is a jumbo loan times, let's just call it 6.5%. That is a lot of money. That is $13,000 of just pure interest a month, okay? $13K, but then add taxes, which is another $4,000. Then add insurance, okay, which is another, let's just call it, $3,000 or something like that. Not a month, but just obviously divided by 12. You're now looking at about $18,000 a month. $18,000 a month for your payment, plus you're out $600,000. You're out $600K with no income coming back, but you bought a house. Doesn't make sense to me. $18,000. But so idea is sell the asset, put it into a performing new asset, take the $600K, put that down. Now that new asset is going to make you $5,000 or $6,000 a month. So if it makes you $5,000 or $6,000 a month by other people renting your asset, and let's just say you want to go rent a property for $10,000 a month. Well, that's $6K that's coming, or $5,000 or $6K coming from the new investment, plus your plus the difference, which is another $5,000. So you can literally live in another place for $5,000, providing you have a house to sell and you make $600K in profit and you use that as a down payment. I'm just giving you guys the example of what the difference is between buying and renting. If you're buying, sure, you have appreciation, sure, you have principal pay down, but honestly, you're at 75% off if you rent. Remember I said $18,000 was the payment? And if I have a payment of $10K on a nice-ass house, and I have $5,000 or $6,000 coming back to me from the asset that I purchased, it's $5,000 out of my pocket to go live in a house that would have cost me $18,000, and I wouldn't have been receiving cash coming in. Pretty crazy. So I started doing the math, and I'm just like, you know what? This is interesting, because I want to let more people know about this, because it just makes sense, financially, numbers wide. And I'd say I'd never rented since I was 24 years old. Bought my first house at 24, never rented, because I didn't really understand this process. I probably would have back then, but even though back then it was just cheaper to freaking buy, because it was $60,000, $70,000 houses, and the interest rates were different. But it didn't matter what the interest rate was, because your purchase price was so low. Now that it's a lot more, the value has increased, it makes things a little more challenging to go buy something because of that interest rate. So that's something I've been realizing, and and that's kind of our plan. So hopefully that resonated with you guys, and hopefully it's something that you guys can go implement on your journey of, home ownership, and, or potentially buy new investment properties and such. Oh, and speaking of which, the vacancies that we had, like I think the 4 or 5 or 6 vacancies that we had last week or a couple weeks ago, they're all rented. So finished our our vacant properties. I think that we only have one, which is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, which we have like 12 unit on. But I think there's only 2 or 1 or 2 units that are vacant. So it's not bad out of like 7. So I will take that all day. Now I'm not bleeding all those payments of a couple grand a month, times 7. That's, $14,000 extra, not to even mention your normal payments of houses that you have, or your primary, your primary house. So who knows? So it's just something I want to share with you guys and kind of give you an idea of like what's happening, and, on this neck of the woods. And, I didn't really get into the flipping side of it on this episode, just because there's a lot of there's a lot of things that are happening. We have a few, I think 6 or 7 different projects, new deals in escrow, some other ones that are in escrow about to close, hopefully. So this whole ebb and flow of deals, sometimes, guys, the deal that you don't do is truly the best one. And I've realized this over my career, is sometimes saying no will save you way more money, way more headaches, or the lack of headaches that you're going to have. And yeah, you may not, support your guys, but it's something that you got to do too, to create that space in your brain to say, you know what, I'm not ready for this one, but I'm going to shoot on this one. I'm not ready here, but I'm going to shoot over here, So that's something that I want you guys to take from today's episode. So I hope this helps. I hope this resonates with you guys. And in closing, make sure that you learn how to increase your commitments so your income can grow. And trust me, if you apply that with everything that you do, whether it's, your health, whether it's for sure your financial capabilities, your work ethic, your faith as well, like increase the commitment in faith. And next thing you know, you might actually get some help from him upstairs. And it's been a big thing for me. And am I perfect? Fuck no. No one is. Anybody that's watching, you're not fucking perfect. And neither am I. So I'm just trying to figure it out and just sharing the flow with you guys and sharing what I know. And, hopefully it resonates with you. And opinions are welcomed always. So please comment below, subscribe to our Expand podcast, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.